being able to manage praise, like not needing praise to make you feel good, and a nonprofit not needing praise all the time, but being able to manage criticism. If you are standing for something, some people aren't going to like it, and that's okay. I had to learn to do that myself.
Right.
That was a big thing. I was a pleaser. I wanted everybody to like me. I still kind of do a little bit.
Don't we all? Right?
I know. I mean,
being consultants, coaches, we want to help people, and then we want validation. We want people to recognize the value of what we've helped them with, what we've taught them. So I think that's normal. Well, and what I've seen you do, and one of the things, like one of the best ways to position yourself as an expert in something is to write a book, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the first things I knew about you was that you'd written this book called Courageous Communication. How did writing that book serve your brand? How did that help you generate business? Was that a good thing that you did?
Yeah, and yeah, it was a great thing. And okay, so a couple things about the book. One is it really helped me understand my position, my distinct position, which is this idea of praise and criticism, right? Being able to manage praise, like not needing praise to make you feel good, and a nonprofit not needing praise all the time, but being able to manage criticism as just the price of doing business, and that if you are standing for something, some people aren't going to like it, and that's okay. I had to learn to do that myself.
Right.
Because that was a big thing. I was a pleaser. I wanted everybody to like me. I still kind of do a little bit.
Don't we all? Right?
I know.
I mean, that's pretty typical in our field.
Right.
Being consultants, coaches, we want to help people, and then we want validation. We want people to recognize the value of what we've helped them with, what we've taught them. So, I think that's normal.
And so that was, for me, the process of, first of all, going through that for myself, and then being able to, create the book around that so that I could teach other people to do it, and to really create the book as a reflection of me. And also the other thing about the book is I had a really great book writing coach, and what I realized is that I'm really coachable.
Yeah, you are. And I can attest to that.
And I looked back in my life and I thought, wow, I've really had times in my life where coaches had helped me transition, and I hadn't really put that together, as a value of mine. And when I had the book writing coach, I realized, okay, now I see the value of being coached through a process.
Got it.
Right? Because I tried and tried and tried on my own. I couldn't figure out how to make it funny or interesting. I didn't want it to be like a textbook. How do you weave all of this stuff that you've learned over all of these years into something somebody actually wants to read? Well, somebody helped me do that. And then through that experience, I learned to grow and strengthen in my value, right? And I also then learned how to trust someone's process. And again, if I want people to trust my process, I have to be able to trust someone's process.
Right.
And that's really how the book helped me shape my brand and stand for something, because that's what thought leadership is, right? Here I see the world just a little bit differently, and I want to share with you what that looks like.
So what I'm hearing you say is that in your process of becoming a successful business owner, in your process of building a business that's aligned with who you really are, what you're all about, one of the big seminal steps along the way was to gather your content, gather your experiences, and organize them and formulate them into a book. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to do that? Besides what you just said about becoming more congruent and practicing what you preach, what was the strategic purpose behind putting that together into a book?
Well, I feel like having a book is, first of all, just categorizing, collecting all of that and having it in one place is an amazing thing. Whether it's a book or not, having that. But I guess for me, what I felt like is it would boost my credibility. It would help me be seen as an expert, and it would help people. Mm-hmm. It would help people, if you read the book. And what I love is when people say, oh, we read your book and we followed all the steps and we worked on our messaging. I'm like, oh, or they buy it for their board members to read. It's helping people. There's something so amazing about just holding the book, having that physical, look, here's everything I know, and I'm happy to share that with you. And that brings up something that I want to share, which is, and I think this is important for us, and for those of you who want to do this work is when I ask my coach, or if I would ask you, how much do I share? What do I tell them? Tell them everything. Because information is readily available, right? Information is free. What people are paying for in their thought leadership is me.
In other words, like your book, giving away everything in your book, you weren't concerned about over giving, like, because some people might think, well, I don't want to tell them that bit because then why would they hire me?
Exactly.
And you're saying, just give it, don't do that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because information is everywhere. They can read it, but that doesn't mean they're going to actually implement it. And really make yourself more valuable by saying, here's what I know, here's all the information, like take it, try it, use it, do it. And if you want support with it, then they'll come to you and they'll already be a better client.
Exactly.
By having read all that information.
Yes. And I've really been seeing that shift over the last maybe 6 months to a year. People who are coming to me, they've listened to the podcast, they've read the book, they already understand what I'm about when they reach me. Like, and that's why I get less people who are like not a good fit or want me to fix or solve something for them, because they already know what I'm about, and that's not what I do. And I feel like part of the personal brand, part of the brand is trust.
Yeah.
People want to trust me. They want to know me. They want to feel like they know me. And if they're already coming to me feeling like they know me,
half the sale is already done too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes a lot of the heavy lifting is done. If they've read your book, they've listened to your podcast, and there's trust, like when you poke them or prod them or throw a monkey wrench or like ask them a deep question, they're really going to take that on in a different way than if you're just some nobody who's trying to sell them something.
Yeah. And I think in the beginning, and this sounds so crazy when I say it, I didn't see myself as a coach. I saw myself as like, oh, I can help you fix your marketing. I can help you, but I don't. Then people would come to me all the time, and I would have these amazing conversations. People would say, you really helped me. That changed me so much. Yeah, but that's not what I do. Right? This is what I, right? This is what I, I know it sounds so stupid. Like, so,
why? Wait, explain it.
Because I had a story in my head, and the story in my head was, oh, I don't do that personal stuff. I do
the business strategy. Me too.
Strategy stuff. And then like COVID hit, and remember, you and I had this conversation. I said, I'm having these really frustrating conversations because the executive director, the CEO says, yeah, let's do it. But then they'll go to the board or they'll go to somebody else, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. And you said, well, why don't you just teach them how to get a yes? You could teach them that. I'm like, I could teach them that. And then I thought, well, I really don't have anything else going on right now. Why don't I just teach people exactly what I want them to know and really step into my ability to guide people? And there was a little bit of resistance to that, even though people would come to me and say, so do you do like personal coaching, or do you like, oh no, I'm like, what?
So the lesson for the people watching maybe is like following the free energy is something that I've kind of stolen from Dr. Aaron, and I don't know who made it up, Donald Epstein, but the idea of following the free energy, finding like where is there naturally people are asking you for stuff that you feel energized by, right? And a desire. We don't want to create something or sell something just because we can. At least I don't advise it, because ultimately I think it ends up being not a great use of our time or energy in the long run. But what you're saying is listen to those places, listen more deeply when people are like, can you do this? Or you really helped me with this. And then listening and creating in alignment with where the energy already is, instead of trying to push and force new things. Thank you, Maryanne. That was juicy information, very powerful. If you're curious about learning more, I highly recommend checking out Maryanne's book, Courageous Communication. It's a great book about taking a stand for what you believe in. And how does that serve you? How is that different perhaps than what other people are doing or what you used to be doing?
Well, I mean, it serves me really well. I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like what it does is it allows me to serve people on different levels based on their needs.
Yeah.
And also, the same thing I look for in an individual is the same thing I look for in an organization, right?